In this video, we're going to teach you why and how to take your upper body strength to the next level. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's Neil Toussaint with TrickStrong.com, where we help you perform without limitations. As movement artists, so you might be a tricking athlete, parkour or free running athlete, you might be a stunt performer or martial artist. We have to realize that these activities have a lot of overhead and rotational components to them. So yes, a lot of our power is generated from our legs and our core, but these components will also be driven by the upper body. These capacities are very important in order to be able to catch with one arm your whole body weight in a touchdown raise, for example, or pull yourself up from a ledge, or safely bail or do a stunt fall, or have the rotational power to twist as fast as possible. These can actually be improved with upper body strength training. But before we talk about all that, we're gonna talk about the importance of unilateral training, because that's gonna be an essential component to what we're gonna discuss today. So what is unilateral training? We realize that we use one side of the body at a time, often with functional activities, and we tend to have a dominant side. So in the case of tricking, we're gonna be twisting to one side all the time. So it's very important for us to not only strengthen the side that is good or that we need, but we want to strengthen the other side as well, because that's going to help us limit any muscular imbalances which have been known to cause injury. It can also help us with bails, for example. So let's say you're going to fall. You don't know which way you're going to fall. You don't have the choice, right? It's a mistake, right? So you want to be able to have that cushion to be able to catch yourself, and also have the core strength to catch yourself. Because when we train unilaterally, we actually improve our core strength and coordination throughout our whole body. So we're going to be utilizing this principle throughout all of these progressions today. In order to make sure we're covering all of our bases with our upper body strength training, we want to make sure we're strengthening through all planes of motion. The first plane of motion we're going to discuss right now is the vertical pull. So that's going to be a pull-up for the sake of this video. So regardless of if you're coming with a lot of upper body strength or very little, the pull-up is going to be an amazing way to train that upper body pulling strength. I want you to choose a variation that you can do for about 5 reps for at least 2 to 3 sets. So we can start with the band assisted pull-up. And then we can progress to the bodyweight pull-up, and then to the weighted pull-up. Regardless of the variation you're able to do, you want to keep a very rigid body. Ideally, you can hang so that your feet aren't touching the ground, and you would step off of a small box or something like that, so that you're fully hanging. That's going to allow you to really squeeze your legs together, squeeze your glutes, and pull towards the bar. The biggest mistake I see with pull-ups is that people are very closed in their shoulders as they pull up. What I want you to focus on is imagining a string going from your chest to the bar. You want to pull your chest straight towards the bar. It should feel like a row with your body weight. Once you're able to do about 5 reps for 2 to 3 sets very comfortably, and exceeding maybe 8 to 10 reps, you definitely want to progress in intensity. So let's say you're able to do a banded pull-up and now you can do 10 reps. You definitely should be moving towards a bodyweight pull-up, and then same thing for a weighted pull-up. The other thing I want to train in this plane of motion are dead hangs. So you could start with 2 arms, and then now we're going to incorporate our unilateral training. We're going to go into a 1-arm hang. And from that hang, you can actually start to do scapular pull-ups. So that's going to be retracting your shoulder blade down and back. And if you can do that with 2 arms very comfortably for about 10 reps or so, then again, you're going to now go into that single arm scapular pull-up. These are all amazing vertical pull variations that you could use to really strengthen your upper body and work on that vertical plane of motion. Next plane of motion we're going to discuss is a horizontal pull. So we can actually use an inverted row, and I love this exercise because it helps us engage our core similar to the pull-up, and it helps us keep a rigid body, which is very important for what we do as movement artists and athletes. So in this horizontal plane of motion, we can use a bar, or my favorite, we could use a TRX or ring to do this inverted row variation. It's gonna be the same as the pull-up as far as our intention. So we're gonna keep our body nice and rigid. We're gonna pull our chest straight towards the bar or straight between our arms, right? So if you're using a TRX, it's gonna just be between your arms. You can actually use a weight and do a bent over row, and that's gonna be still in that same plane of motion, or even a banded pull. And those are all gonna be great ways to train your horizontal pulling strength. When we get to the single arm variations, we can really see how this is gonna help with twisting, especially with the single arm inverted row, one of my favorite variations for movement athletes, because we can actually manage our whole body weight with our single arm and rotate through the thoracic spine, really mimicking that twisting motion. Of course, you can get this with the bent over row or the banded pull as well, but I really like the single arm inverted row, so give that one a shot. Again, we wanna keep the reps low, and not low and then you're fine at the end of the set. Like, I want you to go to failure and choose a variation such that it's hard for you at that rep range. So I want you to choose between about 5 to 8 reps max. If we're going beyond that, then we're gonna get more into that endurance effect. Of course, you're still gonna be building plenty of strength if you're going to failure, but if we keep the reps low, then we know that we're gonna be really maximizing our strength and hypertrophy, so we can really build these areas and make it difficult for you. And that's gonna help build strength over time. It's gonna help you build that power for movement. Next, we're gonna go into the vertical push. So this is another plane of motion. We're going back into the vertical plane, but now we're gonna be pushing towards the ceiling. So you can either do this with a kettlebell, so you can do an overhead press, but as movement athletes, it's helpful to coordinate our core and upper body in ways that we might use it in our sport or activity. So why not use a handstand push-up progression for this? So the first one I wanna show you guys is the pike press push-up. Love this variation. It's very easy and portable. You can always do it. You always have your body with you. And you're going to not just vertically push straight on, you're actually gonna use a tripod base of support. What I mean by that is that your hands are gonna be the base of that triangle, and then you're gonna aim your head slightly ahead of your arms. And that's just gonna help with shoulder mechanics and help you get that vertical push that we want. And that's gonna really help with being able to just manage your body weight, which is the whole goal of this video. You wanna be able to manage your body weight through your upper body, because movement's crazy and we might need to catch ourselves, we might need to use and push off the ground for momentum, we might need to punch, we might need to do a whole host of things, and this is going to help tremendously with that. From the pike press push-up, we can progress to the elevated pike press. So now our legs are a bit higher, so it's gonna get us more into that handstand plane of motion. And then lastly, we can use a wall to assist us in that handstand push-up. And really even more advanced would be doing it without the wall. And if you can do that, then maybe you can come help me with the next video. So lastly, everybody's favorite, the horizontal push. So of course you can use a bench press, but as we've been saying this whole video, let's manage our own body weight. So we're gonna start with a push-up, just a standard push-up. If that's difficult for you, you can start on your knees, then we could go to a standard push-up, then we could progress to an archer push-up, which is a single arm biased push-up. So now we're starting to load one arm more than the other, getting into that unilateral type of training. Next, we can go into a single arm push-up with a band assist. And I really love this one because now we have to coordinate our core. It is a lot more difficult than a bench press, in my opinion, because with the bench press, you're just pushing that weight, and of course you can get very heavy, so it's good for strength, whereas this one is also good for stability. So with the single arm push-up, with that band assist, that's gonna be a good way to get those reps out. And then once you're able to do about 5 to 8 reps, as we've been talking about in this whole video, then we can go to an unassisted single arm push-up. And if you can bang those out, then you are well on your way to having a very, very strong upper body that can take pretty much any demands that you might place on it for movement. Important tip with single arm push-ups is that notice my triangle base of support. That's gonna really help you have the proper angle in order to stabilize. Just based on the mechanics, it's gonna be very hard to be straight on as you would with 2 arms. So with one arm, make sure you're getting a really wide base of support with your legs and kind of angling your upper body as I'm showing you here so that you can really push with that one arm. You're still managing your whole body weight, so don't think of it as cheating. It's just the way that the skill works. And there you go, some awesome ideas and progressions you could use for your upper body strength training. That's going to help with movement. So we want to be able to manage our own body weight and increase our strength to weight ratio, because it's important for us to manage our body weight as movement athletes, because that's all we're pretty much doing. Whereas if you just crank out weighted exercise, it's not a bad thing at all, don't get me wrong, but the heavier you are, the heavier you can push, versus with these body weight exercises, you have to have that strength to weight ratio dialed in, which also helps with movement, and it helps us with coordination and core training as well. So definitely check these out. And if you like this type of training, check out the TrickStrong RX app. We have tons of programs for upper body mass to wrist programs, no equipment workouts, such as some of these exercises we've discussed here, and many, many more to get your upper body to the next level. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and leave a comment below. Let us know what your favorite variation is for movement, for training for the upper body. All right, stay strong, train safe, and see you soon for the next one.